Welcome to episode 197, Broadsheet Hustle. I'm your host, Tommy Nanny, bringing you a fun and exciting show as we dive deep into the 2026 Players Championship. Maybe our third annual Players Championship show, I believe. But we will dive deep into it with analysis, course recommendations, players, etc. Always a fun show. One of my favorite shows is the golf ones. So let's go around the horn, see who we got. As always, Jason Sayeda.
What's up, Tom?
Jason, how are you? And Jimmy the Chalk.
Hey, Tom.
Jimmy. We do not have Kevin, who is our golf guy. He is in transit today for work, but he did send me some pics and analysis so I can share that as we go on for the show. Just to remind everybody, our episode is brought to you by Jiv and Nina's Pizza. You tried the rest, now go ahead and try the best. All right, let's, I guess it's safe to say, let's jump right into Broadsheet Hustle's Players Championship. I'll just go through my little spiel here. I have it written down, and this is where I get corrected often. It's the 52nd edition of the Players Championship. I did see that it's the 49th time it's a standalone tournament. Not sure what that means. I guess it was in combination with other tournaments in the past. It's considered the fifth major, as we've talked about. It's at TPC Sawgrass. There are this year 123 players, which I believe is a bump from last year of the 122 because of Koepka. He defaulted in with his previous. And I won't go too deep because I know Jason has most of that information. I'll just kind of jump in as he goes. So I will turn it over to you, Jason, kind of go through some of the course history. I think you kind of do the par. And then we might get into what traditionally does well at this type of tournament.
Yeah.
And kind of go on from there.
Yeah, so it's a 72 hole, 72 par 72 course. It's 7,352 yards. So iron play is important. We'll get into more of that. But the fairways are ryegrass. The greens are Poa Triv.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, so I was always under the impression for a long, I guess at one time, there was the Bermuda grass. The Bermuda.
Yeah, I don't know if
Bermuda
it changed, maybe when they changed to from
I
May
think
to
it
March.
might, exactly. Yep. So the
Yeah.
Bermuda's not ready yet. So they have to
could
go
be.
with the, which was just kind of interesting. I
Yeah.
thought.
So like you mentioned, there's 123 entered. The top 65 make the cut. And then my next point is the rough has really grown out this year, so it's going to be tough. Like if you miss the fairway, you're going to be in trouble. No consecutive holes play the same direction. So like the dog legs are right, dog leg left, dog leg right. So that's pretty cool. The 17th hole, you're going to see a lot of balls in the water. I did not write the yardage. I don't think it's long yardage for it. I just think it's just a tough green to hit. I don't know if
and it's also pin placement factors in because the green has some big undulations on it. So depending on where, because there's that one where I think it's in the front where a lot of the balls roll back to it. So like you might see it's risky because it's in the front of the green, but if you place it right, you get a good roll. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah. So the double bogey rate there is about 8%. So that's about like one in every 12 shots are going to go in the water figure, which is, it's going to be, it's pretty cool to see. The par fives average about 549 yards. So you that's not that long for a par five. You need to get your scores, you need to get your birdies on the par fives. So I found this interesting. 27 out of the last 27 winners, so the last 27 winners made the cut in the previous tournament. So last week, anybody that didn't make the cut last week could be in trouble this week, as far as, trying to win. I think it's just it's a tournament where like your major winners usually are the guys to look at to win.
What I read was prior to 2019, when it moved that's the move from May to March. Mm-hmm. When it was in May, you would see kind of at times sporadic, like guys came
sporadic
out of
stuff. Yeah.
nowhere. It was the heat. Balls would travel further, meaning like but you can use lower irons and get better accuracy and not lose distance and things like that. Since the 2019 move, I think I read it as elite winners. So it's like Jason just said, your elite
Yeah.
player are the ones that win this tournament. Since then, they wrote a few things down for why, but the wind. I think the wind in March is worse than it is in May.
Yeah.
Obviously, your better players play better in wind than your crappier players.
Yeah.
So, definitely interesting.
Yeah. And then one more point is just the weather. It seems like tomorrow afternoon might be kind of iffy. So you might get some storms. They might last, and you might have guys that are playing tomorrow afternoon that get pushed to finish their round Friday morning. So that could screw things up.
Yeah, they said wind and potential thunderstorms in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
so guys that get off early tomorrow are the guys maybe to look at for first round leader. And then I think Friday and Saturday should be fine. Sunday I saw some maybe possible thunderstorms. So not great weather for the tournament, but that's all I had.
Yeah, I had 94 bunkers on the course, and there's 16 of the 18 holes have water in play. Yeah, or water. They listed them as water danger holes, which is
most on the
a
tour.
lot. Off the tee, like you said, placement and discipline rather than power is kind of weighing to go. So you're going to see probably a good amount of like your kind of hybrids and your irons off the tee.
Yeah.
And then the approach. Iron play is the most important. Greens are small and well protected, either by bunkers or by, water. So I think that's the single biggest stat is, and I was trying to research. I read something where it was like shots gained approach in difficult situations, which is something newer that I've seen, but I couldn't find like a statistic that uses that. So I mean, you had shots gained approach, but not like the factor of difficult situations. So maybe like that's out of the bunker. I don't know exactly. Maybe it's
that sounds like a Spieth, like stat. Like that's something he's usually good at.
He's in trouble, and then he makes
always in trouble, and then comes up with some kind of shot. And
But again, I still think that just tends to go towards you guys that are going to have better approach and the ones that are your elite players, like at the end of the day. So, Chalky, anything to add on course?
Just sort of touching on what you kind of said, Tom. Every winner since 2019 and the change has been a top 10 ranking at the time of the tournament. And with it being earlier in the season, the patterns of who's playing well in those first couple tournaments hold up in this one. So there's less randomness than the May version, as you mentioned. So just as an example, since the switch, every winner has been at least in the top 20 in shots gained tee to green and top 10 in shots gained total. And the power distance metrics do not mean as much. So,
yeah, one thing I noticed though from us doing our pod, we do the podcast, so we do a lot of the tournament. Every time I read what we talk about here, what plays well thing. Every one of them is like form coming into the tournament. The guys that are playing well, it's like I finally took a step back doing this. I'm like, obviously, I mean, if you're playing well, it's like a football team playing well going into the play. Like you're playing well for a reason. So it makes sense that guys are playing well are going to do well in this tournament, and guys that haven't been playing well are not going to do well in the tournament. So it's like, it's one of those things. It's just kind of, it's hard to really quantify because you just, like you said, if you go to the guys that didn't make the cut in last tournament, I don't know it. My guess is the ones there, you're probably going to find one or two guys that like are elite golfers, right? That didn't make the cut, or if any. I mean, I honestly, I don't know the answer, and Jason, you might have it.
I mean, I have one guy that I'm going to suggest as a bomb, you would say. Not really a bomb, but a longer shot that didn't make the cut. Just taking a shot.
But has there been, is there any like our top, like Chalky said, the top 20 guys? Is there any of the top that didn't make the cut in the last tournament? I don't know the answer.
I can't think of anybody like a Shotley or anybody like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's traditionally, you know what I mean?
I think it's as a stat, it's most useful when you look at some of the big names that just aren't in form.
Yeah. So instead of getting
So
enamored by the name, look
Right.
at you kind of take it away, right?
yeah, so
Um,
if there's I'm gonna say it's not necessarily this year, but like a Jason Day who won a couple big majors, big tournaments, and then like when he got off form, like he wasn't pulling out a big tournament in these majors
mhm.
or the big ones. So yeah, if a guy's gonna be 100 to 1 to have any shot to win, he's gonna have to be playing well and hit some of
Yeah,
these
of course,
metrics. But it helps
of
you
course.
eliminate some of the big names.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. All right, sounds good. Did you have anything else, Jason? Do you have like with wins or no?
Yeah,
We
I
kind
kind of,
of
I kind of, somebody texted me. I have four points, about like what I was looking for. I guess three
okay.
really.
Yep.
It just plays out like it's a Pat Dye course, so kind of plays out like all your typical Pat Dye courses. But approach, like we just mentioned, good drives. Like you don't, like I mentioned about the rough, you don't want to miss the fairway on your
It's
drive.
accuracy. It's accuracy on the drive. Yeah.
Accuracy, and you need some, you need some distance too. So a good driver should kind of benefit here. And then around the green scrambling type thing, like you had mentioned, Tom, you may be in a bad spot and you just got to scramble and come up with some kind of shot that gets you back into into form. So those are the only things I kind of looked at.
Yeah, and this is one too. I want to say I kind of remember it, and I don't know if you guys listened to the old podcast. Maybe when we were talking about putting is like this tournament where you can kind of get away from not
Yeah.
necessarily being a top putter. Because the year Scheffler won, it was like a tenth of a shot he gained in putting strokes gained the
Yep.
year he won. So like, and I remember us talking about that at some point too. So
Yeah.
not often do you go into a tournament where you're saying putting is not going to be as important. This is one you can kind of get away with being just kind of average, or you don't have to be elite in this tournament. So traditionally that would help your Scotty Schefflers, your Ashtai Bhatia, like guys like that. Adam Scott, I think, is another one that doesn't putt well. So guys like that can kind of step up.
Yep.
So real quick, I'll give you a couple of top 20 guys that did not make the cut last week.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not factoring in McIlroy. He had a withdrawal due to injury, but that's going to.
Yep.
So not making the cut last week, JJ Spawn, who's 11, Justin Thomas, who's 14, and then other bigger name guys, the guys we talked about in various formats: Hogue, Lowry, Cantlay, Jason Day, Burns, Denny McCarthy, Justin Thomas, and Rose as well. All
I would
missed last week.
say a lot of those names you mentioned are guys that are like very sporadic, right? Like the Justin Thomases, he's like the hit or miss type of
Thomas
guy.
was like last, I want to say, like last.
Yeah.
He was so big.
He
The one
was,
name
yes, plus
The
14.
one name that stood out to me, and I actually have in like top 20 picks, is Lowry, because he traditionally has played well at the Players, but he's definitely one that stands out when you just said that, Chalky. So good to know. All right. Anything else? Did you have anything, Chalky? I mean, I can't imagine it's drastically different than kind of what Jason went
I mean,
over.
it's not analysis, but I'm just reading through it. So like this, they take the time to set the majors up this way, but as far as the non-majors, and even though it is the fifth major, this is very much a made-for-TV event.
So is it on all day?
I believe it will be now. Whether that's like an ESPN is going to have coverage on ESPN Plus for the whole day. I don't know that.
Yeah,
it's on TV. I don't know it's on TV all day.
With the streaming, you generally can get most of these tournaments now.
Yeah, I don't have ESPN Plus.
But yeah,
Golf Channel doesn't pick it up till 1 o'clock.
Right.
So so 1 o'clock is when it comes on.
Yeah, and that's a lot of
Kinda early.
But there's also PGA Tour Live Betcast on DraftKings, so I don't know.
You also could go on their website.
You get to watch it if you bet it.
You can go on their website and they'll do the pair. Like you might be stuck with featured groups, things like that, but there'll be, I know at work I'll watch like on the internet, and it'll just be the future groups, but at least you're watching
Not to
something.
get ahead of ourselves, but I think I heard the Masters is going to be on for more hours this year.
Yeah, I think so. They expanded. I thought I read that as well. I think we even talked about it.
That
He's
does
been-
sound right.
Yeah. All right. I guess it's time to maybe just get into some of our picks. And I do have Kevin, so I don't know at what point you want me to kind of go through his little spiel, or you want to wait, or I could start with his since he's not really here to defend anything.
Your call, whatever you want to do.
But yeah, I'll just go through. So Kevin threw out, and I'll give the outright. You want to go outright winners? Who we think can win the tournament first? Right. That's kind of how
I'm going to give
usually
you,
go.
when you come to me, I'm going to give you my top two, and then we'll come back to me for my
Okay.
other.
All right. So I'll give you Kevin's outright winners. So he has Auberg as one, Colin Morikawa as one, and is it Jason Bridgman? I think it's Jason. Jacob Bridgman as his three. So he's three guys as outright winners. Won't be surprised if a lot of the podcast is kind of a lockstep here. Jason, I'll go to you first.
So I'll give you two guys. Guess who the first guy is?
Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler. Now, I don't care that he has not played well for him. He's played well as a normal golfer, but he has not played well for him, especially like his approaches have been not great.
Well, I think I saw he's like 88th in shots gained approach, like his irons. That's where he's going to have to overcome those trends, obviously.
Yeah. But he's Scotty Scheffler. So, like, when you look at his odds, and I know we go by DraftKings, but I also looked at FanDuel, and he was plus 480. When are you ever going to see him plus 480? Like, you're looking at Scotty Scheffler, you're lucky if you're getting plus 300 usually on Scotty Scheffler. So, at plus 480, give me Scotty Scheffler. And then I like Oberg as well. I think he's looked good. This is kind of like his home course. He's from there. He lives there. I know I picked him last year and he didn't even make the cut. He was horrible. But I think he's in better form this year. And he's obviously a year older. More experience and stuff. And he's really like coming into his own where like he might win a major this year. Like he's got the game. And and what I did with him was, and what I did with all the other guys is I did the without Scheffler. I don't care if I'm losing some juice on it, but Scheffler's just too good. Somebody for Italy just hit a home run. Scheffler's just too good. I don't care. I could hit both bets. I could hit Scheffler winning and then whoever coming into, but he was plus 2350. Without Scheffler. So technically he could come in second and I could win. Obviously he could win and I win. So I did that with all my other bets.
Yeah, 2350 is good for him with the out
Without
bet.
Scheffler, yeah.
Yeah,
I could hit
for
both
sure.
bets.
All right, Chalky, who do you have on the outright win side?
So I have 6 potential win bets, but I'll give you the 3 more likely to start.
There's only 123 guys, so remember.
Well, 2 or more bombs, and then 3 are more reasonable. Scheffler will probably win because I'm going to say I'm going to fade him. I know you're not going to get 450 or 430 on Scheffler most, but his iron play, he's, like you said, Tommy, I know from one thing I saw, he's 70. He's not in the top 77 in shots gained approach, at least.
Yeah, I think
So-
I think I saw he was 88.
That helps separate, that's what helps make him so good, and that's obviously an important metric here. I think if it brings him back to the pack a little bit, I'm not going to jump on him just yet. So my 3 most likelies would be Morikawa as plus 1850 right now on DraftKings, Siwoo Kim, who's plus 2300, and also Allberg, who is currently plus 2800.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say with Scheffler is like he's one guy that, I mean, we use trends and things at top 35. I saw it was like 19 out of the last 21 winners were top 35 in shots gained approach coming into the tournament, etc. Like, I mean, Scheffler's 88th right now. So basically for him to get into the top 20, 30, like he has to be a top iron player for the rest of so like using that against him is saying he's just not going to get it together at all this year, right? You're saying which doesn't seem likely. He's going to improve his iron play. So, just to be hard, like to have that like line drawn in the sand and say he's not in the top 35. I ain't going to take him. I think you got to just be a little careful with a guy like Scheffler when it comes to that saying.
Absolutely.
With that said, I also don't have him to win this tournament, but I'm not, I agree on both sides.
It's like, obviously we didn't do this when Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods. And he's not Tiger Woods, but he's not that far away from being Tiger Woods. So, like,
this is the closest thing we'll see as far as betting that we have seen. I mean, when how many times have we come on here and he's the only player in single digits when you're talking about odds?
I mean, he's also like, you've seen him. He's thrown in rounds this year where it's just like unbelievable. Where he played terrible. I mean, if you took away the first round in like 2 or 3 of his tournaments, he wins even if he shot even, he wins the tournaments. So
and again, like, I don't know, I'm sure Tiger Woods went into ruts at some point, like during those years.
Yeah,
like,
I will say though, he kind of didn't finish last year strong either, Scheffler, which is part of it, concerning where he didn't finish strong and he didn't necessarily start strong now. So it's not just like a couple rounds here and there.
He did win a tournament, though. He did win a tournament this year.
Did he win? Yeah, he came back and
he's got
won
to win. Yeah, he's got to win.
He had like a crazy final round, I think, right? In like 1 year. Well, that's him. That's even when he's not his top, he still has potential to win. So obviously, I'm never gonna doubt. So yeah, I have Colin Morikawa as my top guy as well. Like Chalky said, I mean, I have a slew of reasons, but it really just comes down that he's fifth in. I saw him fifth in shots gained approach. He's in the elite iron player. See if I can read my writing here, which I can't. His ability to hit small targets. His form, which we talked about, is elite. He won AT&T Pebble, T7.
His putting's been better too.
His putting, yeah. And again, this is a tournament that doesn't necessarily need great putting. Now, I will say, last year, putting was horrific, and it actually did cost him. Although you don't need to be an elite putter at this, you can't be horrific. I mean, obviously, you can't be horrific, and he was horrific. Cost him the tournament. He was T5 at Arnold, T7 Genesis. So his form is elite right now. His iron play is elite. So I have him. I like him pretty well. Also, he's an early round Thursday guy, like Jason alluded to early in the show. Calm wind conditions, soft greens. I mean, it's just going to be right for big numbers to be put up early. And as the tournament goes on and the winds pick up and the course dries out, it's going to be tougher. So definitely a first round leader type of guy as well. So I have Colin Morikawa, and I have Siwoo Kim as my other pick. So I'm gonna die on the vine with Chalky here. And he was plus 2,300. And again, he's like the top iron player, second iron play guy right now. But he has far more rounds than whoever I think was first. And you can go, like Chalk said, you can go through it, but Siwoo Kim was kind of my other guy. All right, how did you want to move forward now? You want to go long shot winners or top 5 long shots?
Yeah, long shot winners. Yeah.
All right. I don't see Jason. Kevin has some top 20 guys, but I don't know if they're necessarily winners. He just has them as top 20.
Yeah, I would just count his 3 that he gave you as winners. Those other guys are probably top 20 guys.
20 guys, so I'll hold off on that. So go ahead, Jason.
So I have 4 other guys that are somewhat longer shots, I would say. So one of them's Hovland. I think this is the type of course that he could play. He could have a nice round, and he actually finished top 3 in 2023 here. So he's shown that he could handle this course. So, and again, these are all without Scheffler. Got him at 32-1. Minwoo Lee played really well last week. Great off the tee. I want to say, and my eyes are playing tricks on me. No, he finished top 6 also in 2023. So he's another one who has played well at this course. And one guy who did not make the cut last week that Chalky mentioned was Shane Lowry, who always plays well at this course. And I kind of like how he's coming into this. So Minwoo Lee was 35-1, by the way, without Scheffler. Shane Lowry's 55-1 without Scheffler. He basically should have won the tournament 2 weeks ago, right? So he plays really well in Florida. Kind of had a letdown last week. He didn't miss the cut by that much. He missed the cut, I think, by 1 stroke. So maybe that was his letdown week, and now he comes back with a vengeance this week. So 55-1 without Scheffler. And then my last one is Jacob Bridgman, just like Kevin, 55-1 without Scheffler. Good long shot for this tournament. Good young player. You're gonna hear from this guy going forward. So just as a longer shot.
All right. So I'll go mine because they're very similar to Jason. So my other long shot, Shane Lowry is one of them. So when Chalky gave that missed the cut, I kind of cringed a little bit because I actually didn't use that in my analysis. So I wasn't happy to hear that. But obviously I do have him. Russell Henley was a guy. I mean, I guess he's not crazy long shot. I think he's a top 7 guy in the odds maybe. But Henley was one. Bridgman was one. Victor Hovland was one. So all pretty much what Jason said. I also did write down, and I didn't know if I want to say it or wait for a top 20. But I had Brooks Koepka. I mean, as a guy that I think can kind of rebound. He's a Florida guy. He's not a West Palm Beach guy. He's back in the PGA. He hasn't been his shots gained is actually pretty good. I have him written down on my sheet somewhere. He's 33rd right now in shots gained. Now I will say he's only got 2.5 tournaments in, I think 9 rounds total or something. So smaller sample size than some of these guys, but his iron play has still been good so far this year, and maybe he makes that. Maybe he kind of jumps back into probably more likely not a winner, but I think he was up there. He was like a pretty big odd guy. So
Koepka is 49 on DraftKings.
Yeah,
right
49
now.
plus 4,900. So that's what I got. Chalky.
And so these are guys, you could bet them top 10 at plus 300 or better. All of these 3 guys I'll give you. I'm not sure what their top 20 are, but I'm sure it's probably still plus money. But I also have Minwoo Lee, 44-1 on DraftKings to win. Got her up 48-1, and Jake Knapp at 50-1.
Now Goddard's recent, he went off. He was like guns firing, and his recent form I think is kind of fell off. And he's a bomber guy. That's the one thing that scared me a little bit with him.
Yeah.
Which you got to be careful.
Yeah, there was a couple of the shots. He's high on around the green, approach the green, off the tee in total. His putting stinks as far as shots gained. And then driving distance, yes. Accuracy, not so much. So that would be his main drawback.
That's what kind of scared me about here.
At 40, where he was 48-1. And then Knapp is 4 out of 5 top 10s, I think, so far, and he was 11th, I think, in this last year.
Knapp's a good player.
So at 50-1, plus 365 to be top 10, I think those are bets.
Guys like that are really good young players, but like they need to really contend and this is technically the 5th major, right? In one of these majors, like I want to see a Goddard or Knapp like be top 5 in contention on a Sunday for me to want to bet them going, you know what I mean? Like in one of these big tournaments going.
Yeah,
forward.
it's all. I mean, you look at and a guy I was going back and forth, and I ultimately didn't use as a say to win, but like a Daniel Berger, for instance. I mean, like last week, the pressure's on, and he starts to Sam Burns in the U.S. Open. Like, I know he had this situation, but like pressure gets on in these guys, and then and that's what separates them from winning these types of tournaments versus winning, even AT&T or Arnold or Genesis, whatever you want to say. Like they win those. This is a different class of tournaments.
I mean, Goddard's won twice. He's won 2 of the 6 so far this year. But when he doesn't win, he's 18th, 37th.
And the 2 he won were like on the low. They weren't the signature.
Well, I mean, Phoenix Open's a big one. It's not. It's not marquee, but he won the Phoenix Open. Yeah.
I think it's bigger.
The Sony Open in Hawaii, I didn't even know existed until I'm looking at it right now. But you know, he missed the cut to Genesis. He was 18th in Arnold, and he was 37th at Pebble. So those are,
Yeah.
you know,
All right. What about top? So I guess you could do top 5, top 10, top 20, kind of however you want.
You
Like
want
I
to
said,
give
I'll
Kevin?
read Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin
give
had,
please.
I mean, he had Bridgman again in his top 20. I mean, obviously, if he thinks he's going to win. He did have Adam Scott, and this is where I call fraud on Kevin here, and he's not here to defend himself. Although he doesn't have Justin Thomas, he has Ricky Fowler. I gotta imagine. I think he picked him out. Doesn't he pick Ricky Fowler every time?
I don't
think
remember.
they use Justin Thomas a lot, but
Well, Justin
You
Thomas,
did,
I think he finally has to give up on that, and now it's Fowler. I'll see
Where's-
him at work tomorrow.
where's
so I'll
Ricky
ask him
Fowler?
that.
Over here?
I feel like he uses Fowler often. Just saying. All right, Jason.
So, I mean, Oberg, right? I mean, obviously. And again, I looked at DraftKings and FanDuel. On FanDuel, I got Oberg at plus 145. Hovland was plus 170. FanDuel. FanDuel, if you guys have both of them, FanDuel is usually better odds for golf, I found. But and then Lowry was plus 250. Minwoo Lee was plus 175. Now, the guys that I didn't bet to win, but always play well at this tournament, Corey Connors. Look at his stats. I think he did miss the cut one year, but he's usually like last year he finished top 6. And then I want to say I saw him up there again. He's not in the top 10 in either the 2 prior years, but he's like top 20, I believe. So he always plays well at this course. So I got him a plus 280 for top 20. Aaron Rye, another guy that always plays well at this course, plus 290. And then my bomb, who didn't make the cut the last 2 weeks, but Tom Hoagie. Check out his stats in this tournament. Go back and look at him. He actually finished 3rd last year, tied for 3rd, plus 600 for top 20. And that's not the only year that he did well. He finished 3rd in 2023 also.
Yeah. Yeah, that last year that was the playoff one, right? With Rory.
McIlroy's
Rory.
form.
Well, yeah. I did not know Hogue finished 3rd, to be honest. Like, I swear I wouldn't have guessed that. So I got 4 guys written down here. Top 20, but even top 10, because obviously you get, but more so top. So I'll start with him. Connors was one of them. So I mean, like Jason said, Corey Connors I had written. Seb Straka.
Yeah,
Daniel Berger, who I did mention, and then McNeely is another one. I feel like is just primed to kind of one day kind of take that next step, and I can see him having a fairly good tournament. And then I do have real quick 2 crazy guys, and they're insane odds, but this is a tournament where you do get like that one guy breaks out, like Spawn. I'm trying to think years ago, there was some, like you always get this one guy out of the blue that kind of breaks out and then turns into a quality golfer. Like he just hasn't been ready. Ricky Castillo and Rico Hoey were the 2.
Trio won last week in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, yeah. So, but again, it's kind of off the beaten path and all. And both are like, I think Hoey was plus 21. What is it? 210 to 1 to win it. Not winning, but like just 2 guys to keep an eye on. Chalky.
Yeah, the only 2 other guys I haven't mentioned out there in top 20, you guys have mentioned at one point or another. I think Koepka is worth throwing in there. I think he's going to be a little more dialed in coming back to PGA Tour for a little bit at least. And then I liked Hoagie as well, and he's 650 on DraftKings for top 20, including ties. So you get that payout if there's more than 20 guys that finished top 20 technically. So, yeah, I thought that was definitely value there.
Yeah, in the absence of giving the whole field, Thigala was another name I had written down on my sheet here, not necessarily in any top 20, but he has a really, really good short game. So his around the green play is phenomenal. So maybe it's enough to just kind of get him into the top 20, top 10-ish, but Just another name to throw out there. Okay. Anything else, Jason? Did you have? I know you usually have some
I
fun
just have make
things.
cut guys, and they're basically all the guys I mentioned, but I'll just give you their odds. So Rye, I got -192 on FanDuel. Connor's -186 on FanDuel. I don't know why his odds are so. I don't know. Maybe he's just not in form this year or something, but I think he's got great odds. Hoagie was -114, I want to say, on DraftKings. Minwoo Lee was -310, so they really like Minwoo Lee. Lowry was -250, and Bridgman was -235. I did bets, I did parlays with those guys. Like I did a bunch of stuff with them.
Yeah, I don't have anybody specific. I mean, obviously the guys I went through, so I'm not going to go through it. Chalky, anything outside of the box when it comes to that,
I mean,
or any needs, any missed the cut guys.
I want to bet Rory to miss the cut, but he might just hang around enough to make it to the third day. He obviously withdrew last week, and from what I've seen today, he looked awful on the range today. So fade him to win at the very least.
So missed the cut. If they withdraw, is that considered to miss the cut, or
if it's before the end of the, so he's not considered missed the cut last week because he withdrew on day 3, and he had made the cut. I think if you withdraw before, that goes in the miss the cut bucket because
so if it's like a round 2 and you withdraw.
Yeah,
no
if you don't finish the first 2 rounds, it's not making the cut, and I believe that would be same thing. But if I know Jason didn't get this out, but he likes these bets. If you think Scotty or Rory isn't going to win round 1, you can get 100 to 1 on anybody else or more. So if you find somebody you think is going to be dialed in that first round and be a leader,
I did bet Hoagie at 100 to 1.
Okay.
Wait, what's more Kawhi to lead after the first round?
140.
Really?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I have wrong. This is why they're so high. It's to lead after the first round and win. So you do like him to win too. So
yeah, but
it's 140 to do both.
Right, I was about to say,
yeah. No,
that did not sound right.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I might
this
do.
fella, the DraftKings
I
wasn't clear here, but no.
I'll probably add some more. I like those first lead after the first round because, like, I can't tell you how many times I bet somebody to win who led after the first round and then didn't win.
Yeah.
So, like, pisses me off.
Morikawa is actually 32 to 1 flat just to win the first round.
Yeah, still good, but yeah.
What I might do with a guy like Morikawa is because I obviously he could win and I liked him. I just didn't like that everybody in the world likes him and thinks he could win. I might like do a parlay with him, like just in case he wins, like a small bet, and parlay him with like Iga Swiatek to win the French Open or like some kind of World Baseball Classic, Dominican Republic or something like that. Just in case he wins, and I want to have something on him if he wins.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. All right. I don't really have anything else.
Next
Here
week,
to
I
go-
guess we talk
go through.
horses again. Back to horse
Yeah, I was
racing.
gonna ask. Yeah, we're creeping up to the MLB season. Chucky mentioned it before the show. We do have free agency that started, but nothing. Whatever. Yeah. What is next week as far as horse racing?
That would be a question for Chalky.
We could talk about it off air. I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's anything big next week.
No, I don't think it is. I think it might be Arkansas because I think the week after is like Florida Derby, or maybe the week after is Arkansas.
Nah, because you're still like 6 or 7 weeks out from Derby next week, so they're not running like the final prep that week. So Arkansas is probably.
I think Arkansas
start
and
of
Florida Derby are the same day. I think it's the 28th.
It could be. Let me pull up the Derby
I don't
trail.
know. We'll have to figure out what next week is.
Yeah, so it could be slim pickings for next week.
All right.
Chucky, if you got it.
Looking here at the.
So
the
Italy's
lead-
up
the lead
2-0.
up to the Derby.
If Italy scores one more run, if the game does not go into extra innings, I think the United States automatic because
Well, they have to get doesn't Mexico have to score 5?
no. So
Italy's got to win, or Mexico
obviously
scores
they
5.
win, but if Mexico wins,
And score. I thought they had to score 5 runs. Win and score 5.
if they score 4 and win, then the United States is in. So
I thought it was 5.
I thought I saw 5.
maybe
I
it's
thought they
5.
would score. 5
be
and
wrong. I thought it was 4, but it could be 5. But Italy's got like first and third, nobody out.
yeah.
And
So if they get the
nothing.
4, we know for sure.
Yeah.
So next week, actually, I mean, two final preps, Louisiana Derby and the Jeff Ruby at
Oh, it is
Turfway.
Oh,
Louisiana.
you know what? We might have talked about the Louisiana
Yeah, I
Derby.
think we did.
That's
Yeah.
why we shifted.
So
That makes
in the next few weeks, so really the next 3 weeks, meaning starting next week, are where all the preps are going to be. So you got Louisiana Derby and Jeff Ruby, Saturday the 21st. Saturday the 28th, you have Arkansas and Florida derbies, and then April 4th, you have Santa Anita, Wood, and the Bluegrass.
All right. Yeah. So as we basically were looking at the coming up to the baseball season and Derby preps for the
And then
next
the
few weeks.
Masters will be the week after the Arkansas, the Bluegrass.
Yeah, Masters is what, like April 9th or
Second week,
14th or
It's
whatever
it's
those
that
dates
week after Easter. So Easter
yeah.
is the
Second weekend of April.
third. So yeah, so it's gonna be like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. I think will be the Masters.
Something like that. Yeah, that probably sounds about right. All right, cool. And hopefully we will have Kevin on for the Masters. I don't know if he's home or not, but hopefully we will have our
Jimmy
fourth
D probably for some.
and hopefully we get Jimmy D for some of these horse racing shows for sure. But if nobody else has anything else to add when it comes to the players, I'll just say this was episode 197. Bro, you guys have a great night.